Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of DIG Usman Alkali Baba as Acting Inspector General of Police. The Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Maigari Dingyadi, announced this while briefing State House correspondents and said the appointment takes immediate effect. The acting IGP, Usman Alkali, who until his appointment was the DIG in charge of Criminal Investigation Department, replaces IGP Mohammed Adamu, whose tenure expired on the 1st of February this year. The appointment of the Acting Inspector General of Police by the President is in line with Section 7, Subsection 2 of the Nigeria Police Act 2020.
With the determination of Mr. President to rejig the security architecture of the country to ensure that security challenges bedeviling the nation are brought to an end. Mr. President has therefore charged the new appointee to rise to the challenge to ensure policing reform policy of this administration are fully prioritized and implemented to enable the police perform most effectively for the peace and security of lives and property of all Nigerians. Mr. President thanks the outgoing IGP, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, for his professionalism and dedication to duty during the period of his tenure. He wished him all the best in his future endeavors.
In appointing the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, by President Muhammadu Buhari, the minister explained that seniority, professionalism, record of service and competence were taken into consideration. Meanwhile, Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Maigari Dingyadi, has condemned the senseless attacks on the Imo State Police Command headquarters and correctional centers leading to escape of inmates. The minister describes the attacks as an act of terrorism and a declaration of hostility against the Nigerian state. He called on leaders in the southeast region and Nigeria to speak up against the seemingly manifestation of terrorism in the region to prevent it from snowballing into full-scale crisis. Mohammed Dingyadi applauds the deployment of critical policing assets to Imo State to unravel the proponents of the dastardly attacks irrespective of their nomenclature and bring them to justice. He added that the measures put in place by the Inspector General of Police will be extended to the entire southeast region and its adjoining states in the south and north central to neutralize criminal elements threatening the region. The minister enjoins residents of Southeast to cooperate with the police and other security agencies by exposing these enemies of the people who are hell-bent on destroying lives, commerce, and hard-earned local and foreign investments in the region. Now, just before the appointment of the new Acting Inspector General of Police, the outgoing Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has assured of commitments to ensuring that the fight against insecurity in the country is not truncated. He made this known during his visits to the Imo State Police Command headquarters, Owerri, for an on-the-spot assessment of the impact of damage on the facility by attackers. Loretta Arinze Egwim has details.
The visit of Mohammed Adamu to the Imo State Police Command headquarters is to assess the extent of damage resulting from the attack by unknown gunmen who also attacked the custodial center in Owerri. While addressing the officers and men of the command, Adamu reiterated that the police will not be deterred by such action, assuring that security has been beefed up in the state.
We will work with the state government and other stakeholders within the state to rebuild what has been destroyed and what has been burnt. We will renovate them immediately and make sure that they are put to use. The operational vehicles that have been burnt down, we are going to make sure that we get replacement for officers and men to use them for their operations. So, my message to you is that don't be deterred. Show them that the law is behind you. Show them that people of Imo State are behind you, and they, the criminals, are very few, and that you are not afraid of them and you are ready to confront them head on.
The Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, assures the police of the needed support in the search for the perpetrators of the attack.
Once the police is insulted, the integrity of government itself is also insulted. So we must rise as a government to take charge of discipline and then bring up enhanced performance towards ensuring peace and order.
In Owerri, Lorita Arinze-Ibim, NTA News.
A defense analyst, General John Temlong, has called for investigation of possible connivance in the recent attack on Imo State Correctional Facility and Police Command. Speaking on Good Morning Nigeria, General Temlong says there was obvious failure of intelligence of security apparatus in the state.
For those people to come and operate for about 2 hours or more without any response, a credible response, that to me it's a failure of both intelligence and the failure of the response mechanism that we have in the system, which I believe the appropriate authority will look at it and sanctions those who are responsible, because there must be accountability to the people and to the state. So in fact, if they don't, in civilized crime, people should have resigned by now.
He also reiterated the need to revive police reforms and prevent further attacks on police facility and personnel. The federal government has renewed its call on Nigerians to sustain their support for the nation's gallant troops and other security agencies fighting to protect lives and property of the citizens. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this during a chat with members of the Information and Culture Media Corps in Abuja. Anthony Forsen reports.
The Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said, as citizens whose lives and property is being protected by the military and other security agencies, it is incumbent as a people not to rejoice over any misfortune that befalls them, as is the case with the Nigerian Air Force fighter jet that went missing during an operation in Borno.
This is abhorrent and condemnable and couldn't have come from true-born Nigerians. No patriotic citizen would denigrate his or our country's military for fighting to protect the nation's territorial integrity and ensuring peace and security.
On the attack on the police headquarters and correctional center in Imo, Lai Mohammed maintained that the federal government is resolutely tackling the issue with assurances that the security situation in the country will improve in the coming days ahead.
The attack on the police headquarters and the correctional facility in which hundreds of inmates were freed in Imo State on Monday is most unfortunate, dastardly, condemnable, and unacceptable. This attack fits into the growing pattern of inexplicable and anarchical acts by some malcontents who seem bent on triggering chaos across the land.
To this end, traditional, religious, political leaders and all men of goodwill have been called upon to rise against this negative act before it throws the country into chaos. Nigerians, the minister appealed, should assist security agencies in fishing out perpetrators of this crisis, whom he described as unpatriotic and disgruntled. In Abuja, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
Now let's talk some labor matters. Judiciary workers across the country have commenced an indefinite strike to press home their demand for the implementation of autonomy for the judicial arm of government. Olabode Arewa monitored the situation in Abuja and filed in this report.
Litigants, lawyers, and others having one business or the other in the court were surprised on Tuesday morning when they were turned back by the judiciary workers who were on strike.
Of course, it's already affecting the conduct of our business, because I didn't just come here to spectate. I actually came to, follow up some applications, and unfortunately, I can't be attended to.
The workers hinged their action on the alleged refusal of state governors to give effect to President Muhammadu Buhari's executive order of May 23, 2020, and 1999 Constitution that judicial autonomy should come into effect nationwide in order to shield the sector from outside interference.
We are talking about the separation of power, check and balances. How can we make it possible without this autonomy?
Other governors of the 36 states recently announced their intention to commence the implementation. The judiciary workers say they would not back down from the strike until the governors match their words with action. In the meantime, the Chief Justice of Nigeria and the President of the Nigerian Bar Association have appealed to the striking workers to shelve the strike in the interest of the country. Olaboderewa, NTA News.
In another development, the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, which embarked on a nationwide strike this Tuesday, is wondering why most of its demands, which have no financial implications, are still left unattended to. Issues of concern to ASUP include establishment of a commission for the sector to bridge gaps in regulatory activities, implementation of Needs Assessment Report of 2014, as well as the implementation of the approved 65 years retirement age and the reconstitution of governing councils in federal polytechnics.
Issues we listed, some of them do not have financial implications. For instance, how can one explain the non-reconstitution of governing councils for nearly 1 year? That is symptomatic of the level of neglect in the sector.
The union says making qualitative education in polytechnics more attractive is what is propelling them. Meanwhile, in a swift reaction, Minister of Education Malam Adamu has invited the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic, ASUP, for meeting to amicably resolve the impasse. The union explained what reasons for their actions, which include absence of governing councils of polytechnics, resulting in appointing what they termed incompetent persons to run the affairs of institutions, adding that some serve on acting capacity, while in other cases such appointees stay more than one tenure term.
Up to a month before the expiration of this time, to draw the attention of the government on the need to reconstitute the governing councils, because that is at the apex of governance and administration for all the polytechnics in the country. So important that we cannot appoint principal officers in any federal polytechnic without a governing council in place.
The education minister assured the union that within the shortest possible time, some of the issues will come to fruition.
The President has approved the councils for all the polytechnics, and I think we are just waiting for this break to pass. I believe they will be released immediately. And I assure you all these 13 points will be looked into carefully, and I believe you will be called for the meeting of the Rapid Response Committee in the shortest possible time. I give you my assurance that they will all be attended to.
Correspondent Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports that the union is hopeful of possible resolution after the meeting. Governor Nyesom Wike has dissociated himself from those calling for the scrapping of counterpart funding system for basic education in the country. The governor made his stance known when the Minister of State Education, Chukwu Emeka Nwajiba, paid him a visit at Government House in Port Harcourt. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
The counterpart funding arrangement avails the state governments the opportunity to show commitment in the provision of good educational foundation in their state, says the governor. He called for increased budgetary allocation to education.
For us, education is basic. We can't get it right until we focus on education. If we cannot put money in education and health, they can get it right.
Minister of State for Education, Chukwu Emeka Nwajiba, is in Rivers State for the official launch of Better Education Service Delivery for All Program for Results. The program, which is jointly owned by the World Bank and federal government, is aimed at addressing the issue of out-of-school children across the country.
It is a requirement of the World Bank facility itself that
in order to continue with the process of reward for the number of children that are brought in, that the launch must be known and documented, and then as a precursor to all those additional grants that will be coming the way of Rivers State.
The program started since 2018. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekwiri, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Hingino is standing by in our Lagos Network Center for more reports. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Ayodeji. Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN members enforcing its indefinite nationwide strike, which began today, Tuesday, have evicted court staff from the Federal High Court in Ikoyi, Lagos. Kende Adebisi reports.
In a commando-like manner, the unionists arrived at the court premises before 9 a.m. and directed their colleagues in the courtroom and offices to comply with industrial action. They sealed some of the offices and pasted notices indicating the commencement of the court shutdown. The JUSUN national leadership had in April issued a circular ordering the closure of courts from Tuesday until government complies with the Constitution, court judgments, and other instruments, which confers and re-emphasize the financial autonomy of the judiciary. With the commencement of the nationwide strike, all cases before the courts have been adjourned. In Lagos, Kende Adebisi, NTA News.
Nigeria is ready more than ever to cultivate the Afro-Brazilian culture heritage. This was disclosed by Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, in his message to the commissioning ceremony of the Afro-Brazilian Cultural Center in Lagos. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports.
How do new traditions begin? It is a fact that people and expressions are dynamic, yet old forms do persist. In the 20th century, the balance between tradition and change in West Africa has tipped decidedly in the direction of positive change. This momentum informed the establishment and commissioning of the Afro-Brazilian Cultural Center in Lagos.
We have over 11 countries now that have centers in Nigeria. Brazil is having its own in Lagos. Most of the other ones like China, Korea, Bangladesh, they have in Abuja. So for me, it's a door, it's an opening door to tell the whole world that Nigeria is ready for business.
By this cultural center, we intend to preserve those artifacts, those heritage, and those things that our great-grandfather used, but which we consider now as odious, as obsolete, and we will likely, even our own children will likely throw away.
This interface between Nigeria and Brazil, enthusiasts say, is beneficial to diasporic black communities around the world.
The relationship is there, but we want to extend it beyond what we have right now.
So the relationship is going to be cordial more and more.
The center is expected to serve as a resource center for the documentation of the past, present and future of the Afro-Brazilian settlement in Nigeria. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
We now take a break. Nationwide continues shortly.
My name is Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information and Culture. I just received my first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and I'm glad I did so. This vaccine has been proven to be safe and efficacious. And as long as we take this vaccine and we continue to obey the COVID-19 protocols, such as frequent washing of hands, use of sanitizer, wearing of masks in public places, keeping social distancing, avoiding gatherings, we are sure going to beat COVID-19.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, Go TV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
You're welcome back. The Nigerian government is working out ways by which henceforth judgment debts against any government agencies will be settled by means other than cash. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, announced this while denying an online report that the federal government had compelled the Central Bank of Nigeria to pay various sums as judgment debts. Femi Okeowo reports.
The claim by the online publications is that the Chief of Staff to the President, Minister of Finance, and the Attorney General of the Federation put pressure on the Central Bank of Nigeria to pay various amounts to the tune of more than $3 billion as judgment debts. But the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, while debunking that claim, lamented the negative effects and burden judgment debts are constituting on the Nigerian economy.
This is in tune and in line with the policy of the Office of the Attorney General to support and assist the federal government in avoidance of liabilities that are found or perhaps that have some undertones of fraud and associated things.
He added that the federal government had always carried out due diligence on any claims and had always avoided fraudulent payments.
Each MDA should fund any judgment arising from their respective ministry, departments and agencies.
These steps, it is hoped, will make ministries, departments and agencies to be more careful in incurring judgment debts. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Efforts would be continually galvanized towards incorporation of the Almajiri education into the conventional system of education in Nigeria to give the average Nigerian children the opportunity to maximize their potentials. This is the consensus of clerics and educationists in Gombe during a day's sensitization on the transformation of the Almajiri Sangaya Quranic studies to conform to the 21st century. Emmanuel Akila completes the report.
Different approaches have been adopted to turn around the lots of the Almajiri child, especially in the northern part of the country. Though the number of the children roaming the streets is on the decline, the desired result is yet to be achieved. The workshop in Gombe is to sensitize all stakeholders on the project of incorporation of the Almajiri Sangaya informal system into the conventional education system.
Jami'o'in da muke faɗi na duniya akwai mu'assasar da na sani a Pakistan karkashin ta akwai jami'o'i sun fi 200 makarantar alkur'ani Qur'ani ce asalinta.
Dole ne a zo a zauna a ga yadda za a inganta karatunmu, yadda za mu inganta tsangayunmu, yadda ma za a inganta zamani. Ya zamana cewa duk wanda aka taba aka ce makarancin Alkur'ani ne to kuma mutumi ne wanda ya dace da zamani.
Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, represented by the Chief of Staff, Government House, gave assurance of government support under the Better Education Service Delivery for All BESDA.
The state has keyed into the BESDA program, and we've had a very, very good collaboration from the Alaramas and the scholars. So far, as I mentioned in the speech of His Excellency, we have already over 676 Sangaya schools that have been set up, transformed, with over 1,600 learners.
The traditional institution, too, is not left behind in calling for involvement of all stakeholders to ensure that the program is successful. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Makurdi is our next port of call on Nationwide, and Fatima is our guide. Good evening, Fatima.
Good evening, Ayodeji. Welcome to Makurdi. The Benue State Police Command says it will continue to collaborate with members of the public to further strengthen and improve the security in the state. The Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Sewese Anene, who spoke to correspondent Ashezi Gopep, also described the security situation during the Easter period as hitch-free.
The successes recorded, DSP Aneni says, is as a result of adequate security measures put in place by the police as part of measures to fight crime and ensure regard for the rule of law in the state. The PPRO added that the police, as well as other sister security agencies, were deployed to worship and event centers and some identified black spots in the state.
We have had some raids of places we call black spots that helped us in maintaining some sanity before Easter. We're also working on a Liquor Act. If you have heard, there's so much about Liquor Act, but we're mostly concerned about who takes alcohol, who is selling alcohol, whether that person is licensed or not, what hours.
Meanwhile, the police has confirmed the rescue of a 13-year-old girl in Adipo, Kwande local government area from the kidnappers' den and arrested 2 suspects during the operation. The arrest, which followed a tip-off, she explained, had men of Operation Zenda, a police unit in the area raiding the forest where she was rescued.
She has been reunited with her family and we have suspects in custody. So I think that was also a success. It's not a problem for us because we're able to manage swiftly.
The PPRO sued for continued support and cooperation from the members of the public to ensure the protection of lives and property. In Makurdi, Ashezi Gopep, NTA News.
As the resident doctor strike enters day 6, residents of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, have appealed to the striking doctors and relevant authorities to resolve the lingering issues in the best interests of the patients. Blessing Omecha Ebute monitored the situation and filed this report.
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, after an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting on the 27th of March 2021, declared an indefinite strike action. This action has brought medical activities to a standstill across the country.
Since the strike, the doctors, they wrote some drugs. As they left, it's the nurses that are giving the drugs to me.
No, doctor, no day. So no only nurses. So we want government to help us so that this strike of 18, they will call back strike so that everything will be all right.
What we've done so far is that the patients that are stable, the patients that have been stable, they were discharged between Thursday and over the weekend. Those that are not stable, they are on ground on admission, and the consultants are managing them to discharge them too.
Chairman Chairman, Association of Resident Doctors, Federal Medical Center, Makurdi, Dr. David Alapa says some of the issues of contention include non-payment of salaries of some house officers, abolishment of the bench fees for doctors, among others.
Many doctors, especially with the advent of COVID, many doctors died. Doctors contacted COVID. Those who died, nothing was done for them, no insurance paid to their family. Their families are left to cater for themselves, which is quite unfortunate.
It is the expectation of the members of the public that the issues be resolved so as to reduce the burden on the common man. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ayo Deji.
Thanks, Fatima. Back here in Abuja, effective linkage of demand and supply of food is crucial in achieving sustainability and resilience of food security in the country. This was the submission of stakeholders at the Nigeria Southwest Geopolitical Zone Exploratory Dialogue of the United Nations Food System Summit. Haman Jabani reports.
Exploratory dialogues planned to hold in the 6 geopolitical zones and major cities in Nigeria are aimed at harnessing promising approaches from diverse stakeholders to contribute to food system in the country. It is in the light of this that the national convener of the Nigerian Food System Dialogue and Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Olushola Idowu, and the Lagos State government are of the belief that inputs from stakeholders at the grassroots will enable government develop a plan of action for a better nutrition security.
It is my belief that the outcome of the exploratory dialogue and other dialogues will provide an opportunity for creating innovative solutions to address the confronting the Nigerian food system.
I therefore use this opportunity to appeal to our financial institutions to make funds in the form of loans and grants readily available to farmers and other stakeholders within the system to expand and implement those ideas that can make our food systems more sustainable.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and representative of development partners say the value chain in the agricultural sector can change the narrative if food security is properly managed, as nutrition is critical for food security sustainability.
Nutrition is very critical because we know what happens once children don't get the right nutrition at the right time. The issues of stunting, underweight, and all of that. While looking at ensuring food security, at the same time, if care is not taken, we could also engage ourselves in depriving children of some right like education.
It is also hoped that it will create more inclusive and healthy food system, as well as encourage a more collaborative approach towards building a sustainable food system. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
In another development, Ogun State government says the special agri-processing zones located in 3 local government areas of the state will attract agro-industrialists to the state for investments in agricultural value chain when fully operational. Yemi Dalimo reports that the initiative is designed to manage post-harvest losses and boost food productivity.
Ogun State is blessed with high agricultural potentials capable of boosting productivity and making the state Nigeria's food basket. This is why the state government is spending huge resources towards the realization of special agro-processing zones in the state. The project includes cassava harvest feed and agro-processing center in Ajura and Ososa, fish farm cluster in Eriwe Jebudi, and 330 hectares cassava farm plantation in Iredu Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, where over 2,000 youths are engaged. Governor Dapo Abiodun explains why the state government is committing huge resources towards the realization of the projects.
Ogun State is a natural SAPC location and suitable for SAPC innovation and case study, considering the current infrastructure concentration of agro-investors, close proximity to raw materials and markets.
Ogun State Commissioner for Agriculture Adeola Odedino and others says commencement of agro-processing activities in the state will boost its value chain potentials in agriculture.
What will benefit is a support for our quest to link primary producer to the industrial process. We're also interested in job creation. We are interested in industrialization.
Our SMEs can have opportunities to get into the agro-processing space.
Stakeholders commended the initiative and expressed the hope that the facilities, when operational, will enhance better handling of post-harvest losses and processing of commodities into value addition products. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Political analysts say reports by U.S. Department of State exonerating the federal government from allegation of massacre of NSAS protesters at the Lekki toll gate has exposed the sentimentality of the media and some international agencies. It is against this background that guests on Good Morning Nigeria say there is greater need for improvement in the information and crisis management system in Nigeria. Ekemini Williams reports.
The incident of October 20, 2020 at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos may have quietened down, but the conversations on the alleged massacre of protesters is ongoing. However, claims and counterclaims by some groups and individuals on what actually transpired may have been put to rest by the reports released by U.S. Department of State. Evaluating the report on Good Morning Nigeria, guests commended the tenacity of the reports.
I wish I would have had more of those kind of explanation, to share through the earlier narrative that we're having, that made us also reinforce these bias that we have in the past about how the military operates.
There was no massacre in the first place. America is not saying anything new, because by the time you give the power of confirmation, validation to a third party that has no stake in this country other than to maintain their business interests, we risk surrendering our thought processes.
The guests dismissed credibility questions raised by critics of the report.
Even as what was going on the Lekki, they could have put up a satellite beaming to see. Amnesty did not have that technology. And satellites will pick up and see dead bodies on the ground. Yes, all they do is to turn a satellite and beam it on to Lekki at that material time. The Defense Intelligence Agency could do that. CIA could do that. And then they corroborate those reports. So what resources do Amnesty have that they will start doubting the Department of State this and say it's hasty? What time do they want them to report? Do they have a timeline by which credibility of reports are measured?
Who are these people that died? That's the first thing. It's the question of identity. There's a lack of identity in the IAI's report. And I think what is obvious is that the U.S. Bureau of Democracy thought that exactly we don't have this. But what is also more important, if I was to write a report and anybody who's an intelligentsia in the ivory tower will want to write a report, you will not just be writing the report from the point of view of those people who were protesting. What about the numbers of policemen that died?
They nudged Nigerians to guard against politicization of national issues and called on federal government to re-engineer the information and crisis management architecture in the country to halt circulation of unverified news. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Now it's time to go to our Ibadan Network Center, and Kemi is our guide. Good evening, Kemi.
Thank you, Ayodeji, and welcome to Ibadan. In the bid to maintain sanity on some highways in Ibadan, ultra-modern commercial motorcycle and tricycle loading points have been inaugurated in the metropolitan city. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says this is in line with his commitment to a safer and secure state. Ayomiko Ajibala tells us more.
Addressing commercial motorcyclists and tricycle riders, Governor Seyi Makinde said his administration will not ban their activities in the state, but will reorganize and coordinate them to conform with the modern ways of doing transport business. He maintained that when properly organized, it will be easy to differentiate individuals doing other businesses from commercial motorcycles and tricycle riders.
Okada and Marwa operators, you also have to help the government. People that are using Okada to commit crimes, when you get organized, you can fish them out and you can hand them over to the law enforcement agencies. This will not only help
the operation of the Okada riders and the Kekenaped, but to the entire good people of Oyo State.
We as traffic managers, we're going to post our men here. We'll continue talking with them and we'll continue engaging them and enforcing.
The 2 loading points, which were designed as a pilot scheme, are expected to contain 20 tricycles and 90 bikes each at once before being boarded for transportational activities. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Residents of Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, are turning out urmas for COVID-19 vaccination. This is sequel to its extension from frontline workers to the general public. Almajiri Bello monitored the exercise at some centers in Ilorin and filed in this report.
Kwara State government received the AstraZeneca Oxford COVID-19 vaccine March 11th for onward administration on the executive and frontline workers to prevent the deadly disease. Ever since the arrival, the vaccination has been generating mixed reactions. Going on a monitoring tour, I visited the Federal Secretariat, where the Public Relations Officer of the Federal Fire Service, Assistant Superintendent of Fire, Amin Olarewaju, bore his mind on the exercise.
Initially, I was a bit skeptical before collecting, I won't lie to you. Collecting the vaccine, I was like, what will happen because of the incidents we've been having?
It's not painful, it's not very easy. The exercise has been smooth and
out of curiosity, my crew also visited the State Ministry of Health to confirm whether other residents who were not frontline workers are willing to take the jab.
Before taking the injection, after taking the injection, there's no reaction.
I called my son. We discussed this morning. They said I should go for COVID vaccine. I said, Mommy, go for it.
With the rate at which people like Amin Olarewaju are trooping out to get the jab to protect themselves against the coronavirus, the 55,790 doses allocated to Kwara may soon be exhausted. Almajiri Bello, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide continues after this break.
A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shows.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
StarTimes channel 101 and Free TV channel 703.
Join us.
My name is Nancy Oyedia Orom. I'm AIT correspondent. I've been covering the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 the last 1 year. I just took the jab, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and it was seamless. And I was opportune to take these vaccines with the SGF, the ministers. So I want to use this medium as a journalist for someone who has experienced COVID in the last 1 year. I want to implore media houses, broadcast industries. Let's join hands together to propagate the good information out there for people to believe in these vaccines. That's the only way we can have health immunity and also achieve the projection and target of Nigeria come 2022. Well, I must implore all Nigerians to go out there, register on the Primary Healthcare Development Agency website. These vaccines are free for all Nigerians. Go to the website, register. It is free for you and I.
Glad you're still with us. The Progressives Governors Forum has donated 50 million naira to victims of the recent inferno that raised a substantial part of the Tudunwada Gusau market in Zamfara State. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Abubakar Atiku Baguru, announced the donation when he led a delegation on a sympathy visit to the state government house, Gusau. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The delegation of the Progressive Governors Forum, led by its chairman and Kebbi State Governor Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, was at the Government House Gusau to commiserate with the government and people of Zamfara State over the recent inferno that raised some part of the popular Tudunwada market in Gusau metropolis. Other members of the delegation include Yobe State Governor and Chairman of the APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Maimala Buni, and Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State. Governor Bagudu regrets that the sad incident which affected the livelihood of the victims and business activities in Zamfara State is coming at a time when government is battling with the security and economic challenges bedeviling the state. He, on behalf of the APC governors in the country, identified with the government and people of Zamfara State over the sad event and donated 50 million naira to the victims.
I'd like, of course, to note that the federal government, President Muhammad Buhari, has sent a delegation earlier, but nevertheless, this is an occasion that calls for everyone to do this part.
That shows how committed you are to steer the responsibility that God has given to you. We want to extend the friendship across all parties.
In the meantime, the APC governors used the visit to inaugurate some 18 model lodges recently constructed by Governor Bello Muhammad-led administration at the Government House Gusau. The 30 APC governors who inaugurated the houses bearing the tag of their respective states applauded the governor for the wonderful initiative. The guest houses are meant to address the shortage of befitting accommodation for important dignitaries from across the country and beyond whenever they pay an official visit to Zamfara State. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Director General of the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum, Salihu Muhammad Lukman, has appealed to the party's National Caretaker Committee to quickly set in motion process that will lead to the National Convention of the APC. In a statement, Lukman wants Governor Maimala Buni-led Caretaker Committee to put every machinery in motion and guard against extending the party's National Convention expected to hold within the stipulated time. The APC Governors Forum Director General observed that the recent extension of the ongoing membership registration and revalidation exercise might delay efforts towards a timely national convention. He, however, called on the party leaders to ensure that the Caretaker Committee is able to complete the task of organizing a national convention where new leaders of the party will be elected. Now, the 2020 Edo State National Sports Festival is underway in Benin City. It had to be delayed to 2021 due to the challenges of COVID-19. Let's go over now to the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, where Agatha is standing by. Hello, Agatha. It's good to see you. Can you bring us up to speed as to what to expect when Vice President Yemi Oshibajo declares the games open officially today?
All right, thank you, Ayodeji. It's a good day here. It's a busy day. It's a good day and a big day for the people of Edo. From March to December 2020, then February 2021, and finally, it's happening here today, the opening ceremony of the 20th edition of the National Sports Festival tagged Edo 2020. In a few hours from now, that's precisely at 6 o'clock, this event is scheduled to begin. First with the inauguration of this facility, the remodeling and re-equipping of the Dr. Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, where this event is holding, not just for the sports festival, but also to groom young athletes in Edo State. And of course, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, who will be declaring these games formally open and inaugurating the stadium, is expected in Benin anytime from now. And of course, he will also have to visit the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewa II, before coming down here to perform the ceremony. ceremonies. I can tell you that the atmosphere here is very lively. Of course, wherever you have sportsmen and women, it's a lively environment, but that's how best I can describe what's happening here today. People are moving in and going out, and outside the main bowl of this stadium, it's a busy arena, and people are making brisk business. Of course, the contingents, they have started coming in here in their different attires, some depicting their states, and of course, I've been seeing different teams like Team Delta. They have been going around with a trophy, the one they won in the last edition of the festival, that's in the 19th edition of the festival, that was in Abuja. Like I said, everything is lively, all is set and ready, waiting patiently for the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, to arrive. 8,000 athletes are here, 635 gold medals, 635 silver medals, and 885 bronze medals are up for grab at this festival. It's not just, the festival is opening today, but the games have been going on, and the various athletes, different athletes have been raking in silver, gold, and bronze medals for their different states. Like I said, all is ready. The transmission, all is ready and set to go on with the celebration, and people are waiting patiently to see how this opening ceremony was going to be. They have waited patiently. They have waited long enough just because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Things were put on hold, but finally it's here today. And of course, NTA is ready on site. All you need to do, wherever you are, just put on your TV set, or you can go online or YouTube. We're streaming live. That's the situation here. You can hear music from the background, Ayodeji. That's the situation for now here, waiting patiently for the Vice President to come in.
I can also see that you're in the mood of the National Sports Festival, but can you tell us the level of interstate rivalry when it comes to sports? We can see that Delta State, the defending champions, seem to have taken it off from where they left in Abuja in 2018.
Sorry, can I get a question again,
Yes,
please?
I can see you in the mood at the moment. Tell us the level of interstate rivalry when it comes to sports. Delta State seem to have taken off from where they left as champions in 2018.
All right, Ayodeji, well, it's been since the games started on Saturday. It's been a busy one. Team Delta, they've been coming in with gold medals, especially when it comes to the swimming competition. And they are here, they are trying to make a statement that, yes, we have this trophy here today from the last edition of the festival. They are saying that they are going to take back the festival back home. But the host state, Edo, of course, is saying, yes, we are also the home of sports, and we are going to do our bit. We are not just going to host, but we are going to host to win. We have been seeing level of preparedness, level of enthusiasm, so much participation, so much enthusiasm from the different contingents trying to win gold medal or silver medals for their states. Thank you.
All right, Agatha, thanks for the updates. And of course, remember to comply with all the guidelines of COVID-19 put together by the PTF and the NCDC. Thank you very much once again. Now, still on sports, let's join Olumide Eguntola for more on sports updates.
Stakeholders in the world of sports across the globe on Tuesday celebrate the United Nations International Day of Sports with emphasis on friendship, fairness and peace. Nigeria is not left out as members of the Nigeria Olympic Committee converge on the National Stadium Surulere, Lagos to mark the day.
It's important that government encourages sports to be pillars of our activities in this country.
That we are one Nigeria, and we should continue to unite and push the country forward.
In the same vein, members of the Association of Women in Sports, Edo State Chapter, marked the day in grand style and enjoyed government at all levels to sponsor sport and encourage women to participate in sport to stay healthy.
The women, that they should come out and encourage sports. Sports is another way of preventing cardiovascular diseases.
If all of us can work together and do that, it will really help us.
Elsewhere in Lagos, rounds of match day 3 of the 2021 season of the Nigeria Beach Football League produced 22 goals as Smart City Football Club defeated their counterpart from Edo 5-2. Kwara Beach Football Team triumphed over Kebbi 3-2, while Kada Beach Soccer Club humbled Igbebo Kingdom 4-2.
Most paramount creating a proper beach soccer league, a national beach soccer league, encouraging each state to also have their own state beach soccer leagues.
We've started with 8 teams for this year, but eventually it's going to expand, gradually. So beach soccer is on the move.
I want to assure you, Nigeria is going to move very far in beach soccer. I'm assuring you. We will not be treated as a baby again in the world stage.
From the foreign scene, quarter-final matches of UEFA Champions League continue on Wednesday in a repeat of last season's final when FC Porto takes on Chelsea, Bayern Munich lock arms with Paris Saint-Germain. With sports update, Olumide Gontola, NTA News.
And that is nationwide on the NTA this Tuesday. I'm Ayodeji.